Part 3. Saving for freedom. Saving isn't about sacrifice. It's about creating space. Space to think, to breathe, to choose. When you save, you buy freedom, not things. In this part of the book, you discovered that saving is less about how much you earn and more about how you behave. It's not a single event. It's a rhythm, a habit, a mindset. We saw that consistency matters more than intensity. Saving $200 every month beats saving $2,000 once and never again. Wealth grows when you show up, especially when no one's watching. You also learned that cutting expenses isn't punishment. It's preparation. It's how you make room for growth. Because if you can't manage your current income, a bigger paycheck won't help. Saving is how you stop living on the edge. It's how you create a gap between what you earn and what you spend. And that gap is where peace lives. That gap is your power. Most importantly, you saw that saving isn't about deprivation. It's about direction. You're not saving to deny yourself. You're saving to free yourself. This isn't about hoarding money. It's about reclaiming choice. Because real security doesn't come from what you own. It comes from knowing you can walk away. From debt, from pressure, from anything that no longer serves you. Saving is freedom, and freedom is the goal. Chapter 13. Save to survive. It only takes one crisis to collapse everything you've built. A layoff, a medical bill, a broken car. Without savings, even small problems feel like full-blown disasters. Most people don't fall into poverty because they're lazy. They fall because they weren't prepared. Marcus always paid his bills on time. He wasn't rich, but he wasn't struggling either. He had a good job, a used car, and a modest apartment. Every dollar he earned had a destination. Rent, groceries, gas, a little fun. But he never saved. He told himself he would start next month. Always next month. Then, one afternoon, Marcus got into a minor car accident. No one was hurt, but the repairs would cost over $1,000. His insurance covered part of it, but the rest, he didn't have it. So he turned to a payday loan. And that's when the spiral began. The interest was brutal. He paid what he could, but the fees stacked up. The loan ate into next month's rent. He paid rent late. Then his landlord added a late fee. Next came overdraft charges, stress, sleepless nights, missed work. And just like that, Marcus went from stable to sinking. All because he didn't have a buffer. Compare that to Lena. She also had a regular job and modest lifestyle. But Lena saved. Not a lot. Just $20 a week. It didn't seem like much at first. But after 2 years, she had over $2,000 in her emergency fund. When her water heater broke, it was a hassle, but not a crisis. She paid the bill, took a breath, moved on. That's the power of saving to survive. It doesn't make you rich. It makes you resilient. It keeps bad days from becoming bad years. Too often, people think saving is something you do after you get rich. But the truth is the opposite. Saving is how you stay afloat long enough to build wealth. It's the first layer of protection. It's not about luxury, it's about survival. You won't always earn more. You won't always have support. But if you have savings, you have options. You have dignity. You have space to breathe. Saving isn't about fear. It's about strength. It's how you make sure one bad moment doesn't define your whole future. If you want to stop being poor, start by saving to survive. Chapter 14. Build before it breaks. Most people wait until the crisis hits. Then they scramble, they react, they fix. But by then, the damage is already done. Smart money habits are not built in chaos, they're built in calm. When everything's working, that's when you prepare. Because nothing lasts forever. Your job, your health, your car, your good luck. Tina had a comfortable job in event planning. Steady salary, no kids, low rent. She always told herself she'd start saving and investing someday. Just not right now. She was too busy, too tired, and things were fine. until they weren't. The pandemic hit. Her industry collapsed overnight. No events, no clients, no income. Suddenly, she was behind on rent, borrowing from friends, and updating a resume she hadn't touched in years, all in a state of panic. The worst part? She had the time to prepare. She just didn't use it. Meanwhile, Jake worked in the same industry. He also had a stable job and no financial emergencies. Yet. But Jake lived differently. He saved 10% of his income automatically. He started a small side hustle on weekends. He learned new skills online. He built an emergency fund, not because he needed to, but because he knew one day he might. When the events industry crashed, Jake lost his job too, but he didn't panic. He used his savings to stay afloat. He leaned on his side hustle. He pivoted to remote project management, and within 2 months he was working again, in a new field, at a higher rate. That's the difference. Tina reacted. Jake prepared. Most people don't fall behind because they're lazy. They fall behind because they didn't build before things broke. They waited. They assumed stability would last forever. But nothing in life does. Your job isn't just to survive storms. It's to strengthen your house before the sky turns dark. Because when things fall apart, it's too late to start building. Financial resilience comes from proactive action, saving when you don't have to, learning when you're not forced to, building before it breaks. If you want to stop being poor, don't just fix problems. Prevent them. Build before it breaks. Chapter 15. Save when it's easy. The best time to save money is when you don't feel like you need to. But that's also when most people don't. When the bills are paid, the fridge is full, and the paycheck just came in. That's when saving feels optional. Like a chore you can delay until life gets harder and you wish you'd started earlier. Kevin got a raise. Not a massive one, but enough to breathe a little easier. For the first time in years, he wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. He could finally afford the good coffee, the new phone, the weekend getaway. And he did. He told himself he deserved it. After all, he worked hard. He'd save later, next month maybe. But next month brought a flat tire. Then a dental bill. Then a family emergency. And soon, the raise was gone. Not in savings, not in investments, just gone. Meanwhile, Emily got the same kind of raise. She celebrated, sure. But before she upgraded her life, she upgraded her habits. She set up automatic transfers, $50 a week into savings, just enough to notice, not enough to hurt. She still enjoyed her raise, but she didn't spend all of it. She banked part of it. 6 months later, her hours were cut. But Emily didn't panic. Her savings gave her room to adjust, to breathe, to choose her next move calmly. It's easy to save when you're under pressure, but the smartest saving happens in seasons of comfort. When things feel stable, predictable, safe. That's the window. That's the opportunity. Waiting for a crisis to start saving is like waiting for rain to build a roof. Too late, too expensive, too painful. The truth is, you won't feel urgency when things are easy. But that's when you have to act. Because saving isn't just about money. It's about control. It's about peace of mind. Kevin had income but no cushion. Emily had both. Because she saved when it was easy. So the next time life feels calm, don't just enjoy the comfort. Use it to prepare, to grow, to protect your future self. Start when it's easy. Because it won't always be. Save when it's easy. Chapter 16. Automate your future. Most people don't fail to save because they don't want to. They fail because they forget. They delay. They wait until the timing feels right. But money that sits in your checking account finds ways to disappear. It gets eaten by impulse, by Amazon, by another dinner out. That's why smart savers don't rely on willpower. They rely on systems. They automate. When James got his first real job, he told himself he'd start saving soon. Just a few months to settle in, cover the moving costs, and enjoy life a little. But months turned into years, and somehow he never felt ready. There was always a reason to wait. A vacation, a repair, a new gadget. He looked back after 5 years and realized he had nothing to show for it. No savings, no investments, just stuff. Meanwhile, his friend Megan took a different approach. Her salary wasn't huge, but on her first day of work, she set up 3 automatic transfers. 1 to savings, 1 to her Roth IRA, 1 to a separate fund. She didn't even see the money leave. It just happened. Every month, quietly, reliably. Sometimes she forgot it was happening until the day her car broke down and she paid cash. No stress, no debt. Years later, she had a down payment for a home. And James, he was still trying to start saving next month. The beauty of automation isn't just in the habit, it's in the protection from yourself, from your moods, your forgetfulness, your excuses. When you automate your finances, you make a decision once and benefit from it forever. You stop negotiating with yourself every month. You remove temptation before it even arrives. Automation creates consistency, and consistency builds wealth. You don't have to be rich to start. You just have to start. With $10, with 20, with whatever you can. The amount matters less than the habit. And when your future is funded automatically, you buy back peace of mind. You buy freedom. You build the kind of life that doesn't collapse when life gets messy. James had good intentions. Megan had a system. Don't wait to feel ready. Set it up once and let it run. Because your best financial decisions are the ones you don't have to think about every month. Automate your future. Chapter 17. Consistency builds wealth. Most people believe wealth comes from a big break, a promotion, a winning investment, a sudden leap. But more often, it's the boring stuff that builds wealth. The quiet, steady, invisible decisions made over and over again. There's nothing glamorous about putting $200 into savings every month. It won't impress anyone. You won't post about it. But 10 years from now, that boring habit becomes freedom. When Carla got her first job, she promised herself one thing. She would never miss a month of saving, no matter what. Some months it was $100, other months $300. She automated the transfers and treated them like rent, non-negotiable. Her friends laughed at how disciplined she was. While they spent weekends at bars, she packed her lunch. While they financed new cars, she drove her old Honda. But she kept showing up, month after month, year after year. One day, Carla's company announced layoffs. Her department was cut. Her friends panicked. She didn't. Why? Because she had a year of expenses saved. She had options. She had time. Consistency had become her safety net. Meanwhile, her coworker Brandon made twice her income. But he never saved regularly. He waited for big bonuses or windfalls. He told himself he'd catch up later. But later never came. When the layoffs hit, he had nothing. No cushion. Just credit cards. The truth is, anyone can be consistent, even with small amounts. It's not about having more. It's about doing more with what you have. Consistency turns small seeds into big trees. It turns average incomes into extraordinary results. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep going, even when it's boring, even when it feels slow. Because wealth isn't built in one big move. It's built in hundreds of small ones. Consistency builds wealth. Chapter 18. Cut before you grow. Most people wait to earn more before they change how they spend. They tell themselves, when I get that raise, I'll finally start saving. When the bonus hits, I'll pay off the card. But more money doesn't fix bad habits. It magnifies them. That's why real change begins before the income does. You cut first, then you grow. When Jason landed a new job with a 30% raise, he made a promise. He'd keep living on his old salary. The extra money, it would go straight to debt and savings. And for the first 6 months, he stuck to it. He paid off a credit card, built an emergency fund. He felt like he was finally in control. But slowly, things crept in. A newer phone, a weekend getaway, a nicer apartment. And before he knew it, he was back to living paycheck to paycheck, just at a higher level. Meanwhile, his co-worker Lila made half as much. But she was fierce about one rule. If she wanted to spend more, she had to cut somewhere else first. Want to join a gym? Cancel a subscription? Want to upgrade her wardrobe? Pause dinners out. She trained herself to live within limits. Not because she was broke, but because she valued freedom over stuff. So when her income increased, her habits didn't. She didn't need to adjust. She just saved more and invested more. Cutting first had taught her discipline, and that discipline gave her options. The truth is, waiting to grow before you cut is backwards. If you can't manage a little, you won't manage a lot. Start trimming now. Find the leaks. Cut what drains you, what distracts you, what delays your goals. Don't wait for more money to become more responsible. Cut before you grow.